Tang Wulin was very happy. He thanked him. After that, he and Jen went to the Forging Association. Jen suggested they remain at Heaven Dao City for 10 days so he could show him some forging techniques. Tang Wulin agreed. Jen mentioned that Tang Wulin's alloy forging was nearly flawless, and his success rate would rise as he improved his techniques. He also prepared the spiritual objects Tang Wulin requested and told him he was not required to repay him. As payment, he would accept the final things Tang Wulin generated there in the next 10 days. Tang Wulin thanked him. He spent the following 10 days studying with Jen every day. His bloodline power improved greatly after consuming the best meal. Jen observed that Tang Wulin's alloy forging currently had a success rate of more than 50%, a level barely a few rank 6 forging masters could acquire. However, his soul power cultivation was still quite low, so he could not keep spiritual forging going, and he was unable to forge a spiritual forging with the strength of spirit alloy. Otherwise, he could become a rank 6 forging master. Jen envied Mu Chen for having such a talented student. On the last day, Jen told Tang Wulin that he had done an excellent job of forging and could begin experimenting with the alloy forging of 3 rare metals while developing his spiritual forging practice. Jen believed that after reaching the 4th ring, Tang Wulin would be able to advance to the position of 6th Forge Master, and that he would personally make a 6th level Forge Master badge for him at that time. Tang Wulin thanked him. Jen said that when Tang Wulin returned, he had to focus more on soul power cultivation. To become a divine artisan, he must first achieve the title of Duluo. Because his martial soul was blue-silver grass, while cultivating, he should seek a strong natural atmosphere, as it would do more with less. Jen gave him the 2 spiritual objects he wanted, advising him to be careful when using them to boost his bloodline, but reassured him that his physical strength should be all right. Tang Wulin thanked him. On the day of his departure, Jen was busy, so he had Captain Liu take Tang Wulin back. Tang Wulin was excited because he had never sat on a black tie or mecha. He asked Liu if mecha masters generally purchased rare metals from the Forging Association. Liu confirmed that they normally posted the work, and then paid and collected the items. The Forging Association's fees were similarly reasonable. However, at the level above spiritual forging, demand outnumbered supply, making the cost expensive. Even with enough money, no one would take on their task. Tang Wulin mentioned that he was a member of Shrek Academy's Forging Association and offered his services for any rare metal desired, promising high quality at an affordable price. Liu dropped him outside Shrek City because he didn't have the authority to go in. Tang Wulin thanked him. Tang Wulin arrived in the city and headed straight to the Tang sect's headquarters. He swapped the 2 spiritual objects he had already ordered and returned to the academy with them. He went to visit Yuanen because he had a favor to ask of her. He mentioned that he got a sensation of breaking through recently and decided to retreat for a few days. He asked if she could aid him by shielding him at this difficult time. Yuanen inquired about the number of days, and Tang Wulin replied that it would be about 3 to 7 days. He promised that when he succeeded, he would give her a piece of spirit alloy. Yuanen insisted that he couldn't go back on his word and requested one with a fusion degree of more than 90%. Tang Wulin managed to negotiate it down to 80%. After that, he went to his room to open the items he got. He was excited at the same time he was also curious about what new silk he would acquire. He opened the first box, and inside was a Millennium Singular Velvet Sky Chrysanthemum. Its purpose was to strengthen the limbs and enhance power and overall body capacity. It was a unique spiritual object. Just inhaling the smell caused his blood to race. The yellow jade box contained a Millennium Pine Sender Garnoderma lucidum. It was also known as red reishi, and it had soft, mellow therapeutic effects that nourished the internal organs. Although it might have appeared unimpressive, any substance that was neutralized would become docile and readily absorbed. In the white jade box was a Millennium Vitalizing Fruit. It was so powerful that it turned the white jade box green. The Millennium Vitalizing Fruit was regarded as the desert's most magnificent treasure. If there had been no water in the desert, one piece of vitalizing fruit would have kept the people going for 10 days. Finally, it was time to open the metal box. Inside it was a Millennium Purple Cloudwood. It had 11 circles in its dark purple pattern. According to legends, that wood was tougher than rare metals. Ordinary people only needed to absorb a small amount to neutralize metal poisoning, but for soul masters it was extremely rare. It increased the flexibility and strength of human skin. Its poisons experienced miraculous transformations after digestion and fusion with soul power, rendering the body more flexible. Because it was just the 4th seal, the grade of spiritual objects required was really high. Tang Wulin realized that without money, one couldn't live. Tang Wulin then started making the drug. Firstly, he placed the Pine Cedar Ganoderma lucidum in water. Then he let the mixture rest for 10 minutes. Then he added the Singular Velvet Sky Chrysanthemum. As the Singular Velvet Sky Chrysanthemum was added, the water immediately turned yellowish. Purple cloudwood was very powerful as soon as it came into contact with water. The water immediately became muddy. Tang told Tang Wulin that he had to keep in mind that those two ingredients could complement each other. After they were mixed together, the toxicity of purple cloudwood would decrease. It would disintegrate at the same time and become a drug that could be put to use. Because the vitalizing fruit could be eaten raw, Tang Wulin decided to eat it. At first his teeth hurt, then a faint aroma emanated from his body. It felt like he was walking on clouds. A thin layer of jade color appeared on his skin. Next, Tang Wulin had to consume a basin of muddy water. Just the sight of it made him sick, but it cost a lot of money, so he couldn't waste any of it. He drank it. It tasted disgusting. Together with the terrible pain, Tang Wulin gradually entered a meditative state. His body temperature rose, and the drug's effects spread throughout his body. Every pore of Tang Wulin stretched and filled with the scent of drugs. Outside, Yuanin saw that the aroma of the drug was being wasted, so she started absorbing it. Tang Wulin felt the seal fiercely shaking inside him. His body was wrapped in a golden layer from top to bottom and inside out. He gained such powerful healing power thanks to the golden layer. Everywhere the golden current went, vigor filled the air. All places that Tang Wulin couldn't see were covered by numerous golden rays of light. The two golden soul rings emanating from his body moved around him, shining and reconciling with each other. Tang Wulin gradually entered deep meditation, during which soul power resonated with bloodline energy. It was now the morning of the next day. Yuanin felt like her body had undergone detoxification. Removing impurities from the body had a beneficial effect on improving her strength. The impurities sticking to her skin made her uncomfortable, but she had to guard Tang Wulin so she couldn't leave. She guessed that no one would come during the holidays, so she decided to take a bath in the yard. Unbeknownst to her, Zizi arrived there and saw her. She became furious and attacked him. Zizi tried to explain himself, but she didn't want to hear it. She attacked him and he barely dodged it. Soon he couldn't run because his speed was beyond his control. Yuanin was about to hit him, but Tang Wulin intervened and saved him. He asked her how Zizi had offended her. She told him that it was because of him. Tang Wulin didn't understand the reason for her rage. Zizi told him that he was at fault because he had seen something he shouldn't have seen. Tang Wulin apologized to Yuanin for what had happened and told her that Zizi hadn't done it on purpose. He told Zizi to apologize to her. Zizi apologized, stating he had just glanced. Yuanin was still upset because that was the second time he had done that. Tang Wulin offered to forge another spirit alloy for her free of charge with a fusion degree above 85%. Yuanin was still not satisfied. She thought Tang Wulin couldn't understand her feelings because he was a guy who liked men. She then realized the mistake she had made, but it was too late. Tang Wulin was shocked. Yuanin had told him that Zizi had told her. Zizi had admitted that he forgot to tell her it was a misunderstanding. Now Tang Wulin was furious, so he decided to leave Zizi at the mercy of Yuanin. Zizi was not sure he was done for, but then he saw that Yuanin wasn't attacking him. She was crying and left. Zizi didn't know how to express his apologies, so he decided to help her wash her clothes. He went to Yuanin's room and said to her that they were the only two left in the dormitory and asked if he could have a deep talk with her. Yuanin shouted at him to go away. Zizi then told her that he would help her clean up every day from then on. He admitted that he didn't know what else to do to help her, so he would just do what he could. He had gradually realized that he wasn't getting used to cleaning up for her every day. It was more like he was getting used to seeing her every day. He didn't know how disappointed he would be if he couldn't see her one day. He felt a sense of responsibility because he had seen something he shouldn't have seen as a man. Therefore, he decided to take responsibility for her and asked her to marry him and be his wife. Yuanin opened the door, making Zizi happy. She then grasped him and threw him tens of feet in the air. Zizi landed in a faraway tree. A cleaner saw him. Zizi came down and questioned who he was. The man got a little angry when he called him uncle. He commented on how flexible Zizi's moves were and asked if he was a person of the speed system. Zizi acknowledged that the cleaner was worthy of being from Shrek Academy since he knew about the speed system. The man advised not to underestimate others and suggested making a bet. Zizi asked what the bet would be. The man proposed standing still while betting that Zizi could not snatch the broom from him within 10 minutes. Zizi declined, asking what he would gain if the man lost. The man offered 100 Academy contribution points. Zizi thought he could easily win, so he agreed to the bet. He tried to take the broom, but failed. Zizi acknowledged that the cleaner was no ordinary man. No matter how fast he increased his speed, he couldn't catch the broom. He was confused, and before he knew it, 10 minutes had passed. Zizi was visibly frustrated. He attempted to catch his opponent, but his opponent easily dodged and hit him on the head with a broom. Zizi appeared exhausted. The man inquired about who had thrown Zizi out earlier, further frustrating Zizi. The man then stated that it did not matter who had thrown him out. The essential point was that Zizi was not good enough. He pointed out that ZC had decent speed, but his skill was still lacking, resulting in an insufficient attack and a lower hit rate. As a speed system master, the man questioned why ZC did not understand that attack power was more important than speed. ZC responded, believing that speed was obviously more important than attack, and questioned how the opposite could be true. The man explained that attack was the basis of everything, and asked what use speed was if one couldn't finish off their enemy. He then instructed ZC to raise his dagger. ZC did so and attacked, but then he was shocked to realize that he had been stabbed by a single hair. The man told him that his attack power was related to both speed and power. He also added that he had a long way to go. ZC was very impressed by the man and asked him if he could teach him. The man told him to pay the bet money first and then he would consider it. ZC happily gave him the money. The man told him to meet him tomorrow morning. ZC agreed. He told him his name and asked for his in return. The man introduced himself as Liang Xiaoyu, but mentioned that he could be called Brother Liang. He explained that people back in his hometown had given him the nickname Shinshi's Little Dawn due to his good looks. ZC responded bluntly, saying that Liang wasn't actually that good looking. Liang, not deterred, insisted that he was at least very close to being extremely handsome. Shi then advised Liang to stop using his hair for attacks, pointing out that he didn't have many hairs left. Because of this, Liang told him that he deserved to get thrown out. While this was happening, Tang Wulin had just finished a meal. After that, he called Wu and asked when he could meet him at the inner court. Wu told him to come right away. Tang Wulin arrived at the inner court, met Wu, and got on the boat. Wu mentioned that he had heard about what had happened on the Soul Tool train and asked if he had encountered an evil Soul Master. Tang Wulin confirmed this. Wu explained that an evil Soul Master's power was extremely devilish in nature and advised him to inform him first if he wanted to travel outside from then on. Tang Wulin promised that he would and assured Wu that he would try his best to become stronger. They then arrived at Sea God Island. Tang Wulin knew the island was full of wonderful life aura because his blue silver grass martial soul had the best sense for those things. Then Tang Wulin noticed a girl in the distance. Wu asked what he was looking at. Tang Wulin asked if the girl there had been an inner courtyard student. Wu confirmed. Tang Wulin asked if she had already been a one-word battle armor master. Wu told him that she was a special case and that she was the only direct disciple of the Pavilion Master. Tang Wulin was surprised. He asked if he was referring to the Sea God Pavilion Master. Wu told him that because of her potential, she was destined for a bright future. That was the reason the Pavilion Master had brought her to the island for training. Tang Wulin thought that the girl looked familiar. He asked what her name was. Wu told him that he was too young to let unrelated things affect his cultivation. Tang Wulin tried to clarify that he meant something else. He told him that the girl seemed familiar to him. Wu countered by saying that every beautiful girl looked familiar in men's eyes. They then arrived at Zhuo's place. Zhuo praised Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin thanked him. He informed him that he had mastered the move he had been taught last time and asked if he was going to teach him another one. Zhuo told him that he would teach him later, but first, he wanted to see Tang Wulin's progress on the move he had taught him. Tang Wulin got ready. A fiery aura started surrounding him. Zhuo was surprised to see Tang Wulin had 2 golden soul rings because previously, he had only had 1. Tang Wulin decided to use the second soul ring. Endless rays of light started coming from him. It was too blinding even for Wu and Zhuo, but after 2 seconds, Tang Wulin returned to normal. He questioned if the transformation was supposed to last only for 2 seconds. He was disappointed by his second soul skill, but fortunately after breaking through the 4th seal, his overall bloodline energy had increased significantly. Zhuo was amazed by his bloodline, because it could even affect his martial soul. His Scarlet Dragon soul was actually tensed up at the moment. Zhuo congratulated him for achieving 30% of the Shaking Heaven Golden Dragon. Zhuo acknowledged Tang Wulin as the best candidate for inheriting his mantle because his bloodline's quality outperformed his Scarlet Dragon martial soul. Zhuo decided to teach him some Shaking Heaven Golden Dragon techniques. Zhuo instructed Tang Wulin for an hour before allowing him to practice on his own. Zhuo then asked about Tang Wulin's forging skills. Tang Wulin explained that his uncle had advised him to wait until his cultivation base reached 4 rings before advancing to rank 6 Forge Master. Zhuo was surprised and asked if Tang Wulin could advance to Forge Master level 6 if his cultivation base reached 4 rings, and whether he could use the Heaven and Earth treasure to reach the 4th ring now. Tang Wulin thought it was possible, but expressed concerns that using the Heaven and Earth treasure potion to level up his soul power might not facilitate his future cultivation. This statement made Zhuo a little angry, and he reminded Tang Wulin that a person must not have any pipe dreams. Tang Wulin, looking disappointed, agreed. Zhuo, curious about Tang Wulin's uncle, advised him not to assume what his uncle said to be true, pointing out that forging is the most difficult skill to master, and there has been only one divine artisan. Zhuo then asked who this uncle was who had spouted such nonsense. Tang Wulin revealed that his uncle was the divine artisan Zhen Hua. Upon hearing this, Zhuo quickly retracted his statement, saying they should pretend he didn't say anything.